Now turns to Part 3.
Part 3.
In this section, you are going to hear a conversation. Before you listen, please look at questions 21 to 30. Now listen to the conversation and answer questions 21 to 30. Welcome to the new term. Hope you've had a good time in your vacation. Maybe you're looking forward to writing your dissertation. Now, in this section, you have an opportunity to ask questions on writing the dissertation. Requirements, milestones, who to see when you're in need of help. It's very informal. It may be written on paper, but it's nice to get it confirmed. So, anything you'd like to ask?
Dr. Eric, is there a fixed hand-in date yet?
Yes, I will confirm that that's June 13th. OK, Tammy?
What about the word limit?
Well, we try to be pretty flexible on this, but in broad terms, it's 15,000 to 20,000.
Ah.
And you can choose your topics.
I still have no idea about it. Who?
Well, you should see your course tutor to agree on your final title, and you should also be aware that there's a special program running on research methods for anyone who wants some extra help on that.
Can I just check the deadlines for everything?
Yes, sure. Look, let me write it on the board when the different stages have to be completed. First of all, you've got to work on your basic bibliography, and that's due in to your course tutor by February 1st, which is just 2 weeks away, so you'd better confirm it.
Shall we have our own draft plan by then?
No, your draft plan is due on February the 13th, which is 2 weeks later, so that should give you plenty of time.
And when do we have to be doing the research?
That's over a 1-month period, essentially February to March.
And the write-up?
Well, you can't really start writing until you've got quite a bit of research done, so that's really March to May, with the hand-in on the 21st.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions.
Any more questions?
Well, sir, just some advice really. It's about computers. Would you advise us to buy one?
What can I say, Karen? It's a massive expense, but I really feel that it will be of great benefit. You can always look in the Student Union Fellows for second-hand ones. Yes?
I've been looking at some of last year's dissertations. Is that a good idea, sir? I read...
Well, I don't think you should read them in detail too early, or you might end up taking more of their ideas than you realise. But yes, it really is the best guide you can have to the expectations of what's expected when you write a dissertation.
Sorry, Tammy, I interrupted you. That's okay. It's just that they did a lot of research using questionnaires. Is that a good idea?
I think questionnaires are very good at telling you how people feel in questionnaires. But to be frank, they tell you very little else. Avoid them.
About interviews. Is it okay if we interview you?
The tutors? I don't see why not. They don't have any special contribution to make, but you can, if you want. There's a whole section on this issue in the research guide. I'm afraid it's slightly out of date and you're probably better talking to the tutors on the research methods course, but you might find it useful to start there.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, well, great. I hope that sorted a few things out. You can always come and see me or drop me a note if you've got any more queries.
Fine.
Okay, thanks.
That is the end of Part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to Part 4.
Part 4. We're going to hear a talk about some British customs. Listen to the talk and complete the notes below.
First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
Good morning. My name is Marsha Smith, a counsellor here at the Student Services section of the university, and this morning I'd like to talk to you about visiting a British home. This may help you to cope well with your study and social life in Britain. There is a commonly quoted saying in Britain, "An Englishman's home is his castle," which sums up the importance we give to our own bit of private territory. If you are living in a British home, or are invited to visit or stay with someone, it is important to act thoughtfully. For example, be punctual for meals and, if you know you have to miss one, let your host know as soon as possible. Check whether it is convenient for others in the house when you wish to take a bath or wash and dry laundry. And unless your host employs someone to do the housework, you are expected to make your own bed and keep your room clean and tidy yourself. If you don't have a door key, remember to make arrangements if you intend to be out late, and keep your hosts informed of your whereabouts so they don't worry. These suggestions apply whether you're a guest or a lodger, and will help the household to run smoothly. If you're staying as a guest of a British family, or even visiting for one meal, it is customary to take a small gift of flowers, chocolates, or something to drink. Don't spend too much, as this could embarrass your hosts. If you're staying for several days as a guest, it is usual to give a small present when you leave. Usually, you will get onto first-name terms with people you meet quite naturally and quickly. If you're unsure, continue to use their family name, surname, and title until they ask you to use their first name. Older people, and those with whom you have a more formal relationship, may prefer to stick to surnames, for example, Dr. Smith or Mrs. Smith. If you're going to eat with British people or to stay with a British family, you may want to know if there are things that they normally do or don't do at the table. Rather than worry too much about rules, you may like to watch other people and copy what they do. It also helps to understand a few customs first. Both at home and in restaurants, people normally wait until everyone has got their food before they start eating. However, they will start before this if someone says, "Please don't wait," or "Don't let it get cold." When people have started, they keep their cutlery, knives, forks and spoons on the plate when they are not using them, and leave them on the plate when they finish the course. For each course, different cutlery is used. You may also notice that people don't usually spend much time at the table talking, drinking and smoking. In fact, after dinner at home, it's fairly common for everyone to leave the table together and have coffee in the living room. If you are staying with a family or visiting informally, it's usual to offer to help with household chores, for example, clearing the table and washing up the dishes after a meal. Even men are expected to offer, though you may not be accepted. At a more formal meal, however, the host won't normally expect guests to help with household chores.
That is the end of Part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.